opportunity for us. Okay, I just got interrupted. Can you hear me okay? I guess I was giving permission to be recorded. Okay, perfect. Just a little bit about Volunteers of America. We're a broad-based human service program providing programs and services to all populations. With our early childhood program, we are focused on children pre-K of age and their families with developmental programming, with supportive services, with the goal of keeping them safe and out of the child welfare system. On the back end of the population spectrum, we're providing services to the frail elderly. We do much of that work in a partnership with Providence, where we are providing adult day services. Some of those programs have been suspended during the pandemic because congregate care was one of those areas where the virus was very active. But prior to the pandemic, we had a very robust adult day service program, one in Northeast Portland and another in Southeast Portland. However, the lion's share of what we do at Volunteers of America is providing substance abuse treatment, mental health services to an adult population. And most of that population has touched the criminal justice system. We refer to them as justice clients that are working with us. And we provide the intervention services that helps them get their lives back on track and into recovery. This event is such a celebratory time for us because it is an opportunity to do three things. One, it's an opportunity to thank Greg Stone, his leadership. He's a champion for this population. He's got his focus all of the time on quality outcomes. And it's because of that focus and because of the professional intervention strategies that he has introduced at MRC that we're here to acknowledge and celebrate Al Forthan. He was MRC's success story. That's what recovery can look like with a person who's had poor choices, maybe a difficult childhood, maybe a difficult life growing into adulthood, but most importantly, making poor choices that led them to addiction. And what Greg has demonstrated repeatedly with the population that he serves is that treatment works. Treatment can be successful. We need to provide the hope that people need to believe that they can be in recovery for the rest of their lives and get their lives on track. So this is an event that celebrates Greg. And let's just take one moment and wave our hands and say, thank you, Greg, for your leadership and being the champion that you are in our agency, but in our community and for so many families. In addition to that, it was Greg's brainchild to say, let's honor Al and his success, even though he is deceased, by helping young people who may be in troubled homes have that opportunity to step out of that trouble, to have them step into a possibility of their lives being on a different track altogether. And that was the reason that he created this scholarship program. And it's been an enormously successful program. He not only conceived it and said, let's do this as a way of honoring Al, but he also did something that's one of the challenges that we have in our work. He figured out a way how to finance it. And so not only do we have this wonderful program, but we're able to provide those scholarships fully funded because, again, of the innovation and ingenuity of Greg Stone. So congratulations to Greg and congratulations to MRC. And thank you all for being here to support this effort, and congratulations to each one of the students and their families who are being acknowledged and celebrated this evening. So thank you so much. It's my pleasure now to move towards introducing our keynote speaker, Luke Jackson. Luke was born and raised in Oregon. He has had a very successful career in basketball at Creswell High School, where he ranked 4th in Oregon all-time high scorers when he was there, with a total of 2,095 points. Luke went on from Creswell High School to the University of Oregon, where again, he was a star athlete, star basketball player, where again, he was recognized by the NCAA men's All-American recognition 3 to 4 years while he was at the University of Oregon. He was drafted as the number 10th draft in the NBA. That's real important. He was number 10 in 2004. And he went on to play with the Cleveland Cavaliers for several years. And while there, he was able to play with someone you probably have heard of, LeBron James. He had a very successful MBA career, and now Luke is a very successful partner in Emerald National Laboratory, a toxicology lab located in Eugene, Oregon. And that he has decided to use part of his success, financially and otherwise, to give back to the community through Volunteers of America and MRC makes me really know that this is one of the finest athletes that we've probably seen. They are able to get enormous salaries in pro ball, whether it's basketball, football, or something else. And they're able to do whatever they choose to do with that. Some do things that are very, very constructive and wonderful and supporting the communities, others do not. But here's an example of someone who came back to Oregon, decided to invest in our community, and decided to support a population that needs that support. So thank you, Luke, for being with us as our keynote speaker, and welcome. Welcome to Volunteers of America, MRC, the Al Forthan 11th Scholarship Event. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. You have one of the most wonderful smiles ever. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it is very humbling to have the honor to speak to everyone at the VOA, all of the scholarship recipients, and everyone that is involved with honoring Al Forthan. When I first walked into the VOA and I saw what was going on there, life transformations, men and women being saved, overcoming the chains of addiction, coming out of prison and having a community where in many cases everyone had given up on them, and learning about who Al Forthan was, I was taken back, and it gave me hope in humanity, to be honest with you, because I said, well, here are people that every single day get up and believe the best in someone that in so many cases, so many haven't done that anymore. They've given up on them. Sometimes they've given up on themselves. And here's VOA stepping in and being a support system and literally saving people's lives. Al Forthan, to hear about his story, a man that had made poor decisions in his life, who was not a perfect man, who was successful at so many things that were destructive in the community. And for him to walk in, hat in hand, wanting recovery, and to be able to turn that around. And here I am, years later, after he walked in almost 30 years ago, to be a voice for someone that's not here anymore, being able to present scholarship money to help people further their lives. Certainly there was a point in Al Forthan's life where there was no way that was possible. There was a wreckage a mile long. And to be able to sit here and continue his legacy and to help others where someone had fallen short but got back on track through people that instilled hope and mercy and forgiveness, something that our society needs so desperately today, is encouraging to me. And I think it speaks volume to the heart of the community of Volunteers of America. And it is my great privilege to be able to speak today on behalf of a man that gave so much of his life after someone else helped him along. And that's what life's all about, is helping someone else. It's not about ourselves. It's about how we can affect other people. And that's who Al Forthan came to become. And that's why his legacy today is so special. Who knows what one of these scholarship recipients is going to turn into be? Who knows that 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they won't be sitting right here saying, I became a doctor. I became a nurse. I saved someone's life. I helped somebody out. I adopted someone. I found hope where there was no hope because of a community that cared about me. So I would like to talk a little bit about my childhood and growing up in Oregon. My grandfather, Dean Usted, was born in Cresswell, Oregon, and he was a milkman for Dairy Gold. He delivered glass milk bottles to the doorsteps of everyone in Eugene, Oregon for about 40 years. His entire family, brothers and sisters, died of alcoholism. One died in a car wreck while intoxicated. Another drank themselves to death. His sister, who was blind and married to a man who had so many DUIs that neither one of them could drive, she would steer the car while he told her which direction to go. I had an aunt that had 6 children and did not raise any of them. Our extended family all circled around them and helped raise those kids, who all turned out to be 4.0 students. And, despite the circumstance that they came out of, made something amazing out of their life. But it took my grandfather coming out of a realization that alcohol in our family was a serious thing. The chemistry in my family's heritage, in our systems, it didn't operate like everyone else, and it caused a lot of hurt and a trail of wreckage a mile long. My grandpa decided that he was going to give that up and he was going to pursue a different path. And he instilled that in my mom. And my dad's family came from a very similar situation: trauma, at times homelessness. And when my mom and dad got together, they decided that they were going to do things differently. They had seen what those decisions and what those all of those things that happened in our family, all the hurt and heartache, and they decided that they were going to wrap their arms around us and try to give us the best childhood that they possibly could. And when I think of my childhood, I feel like such a lucky person, especially after reading everyone that applied for this scholarship and how many kids out there don't have that same opportunity, the same love that they deserve at home, that have dealt with so many things, overcame so many things. And after reading all of those letters, if I was in that situation, there's no way I believe that I would have had the success that I've had. So my hat is off to these scholarship recipients for overcoming so much in life already. And if they can do that, then they can keep going and they can make an enormous impact in our world. But my parents were there for me because they came out of a broken situation that wasn't working for our family. My family was a working class family. My dad was a drywall contractor, and my mom was the principal secretary at the middle school in Cresswell. And they were working all the time just to put food on the table. And I'm not sure if they knew where I was when I was growing up. I mean, they had a pretty good idea. I was at the park shooting hoops every single day. And they supported me in every possible way that they could. And I'm forever grateful for that structure and that love that they gave me when I was growing up. And I'm the first one to recognize how lucky I was. And I'm so proud of these scholarship recipients because they've overcome a lot more than I have. But I ended up, after growing up in Cresswell, always dreaming of winning a state championship. Was able to win a state title on the basketball team at Cresswell High School, got a scholarship to the University of Oregon. And it was at that point where I realized maybe I'm a little bit better than I thought I was. And Kay, you touched on this a little bit. No one deserves to get paid for athletics. You're stealing money as far as I'm concerned. I would be playing for free no matter where I was. But if they're giving it away, I'm not going to say no. So after being at the University of Oregon for 4 years and being injury free and having a tremendous experience and having so many resources where, I was able to get an athletic scholarship where there's no way, and I knew this early on, that my parents could have paid for college. I got that scholarship. I worked as hard as I could. And I kind of lived by this quote from Teddy Roosevelt. Even though I didn't have that much life experience, I understood through my parents that it instilled in me that it's working hard and it's doing the right thing that really matters. But I hadn't really had any adversity up until that point. And I want to read this quote from Teddy Roosevelt. And it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows the end of the triumph of high achievement, and at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold, timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. And when I was 20, I thought that meant work hard. And I didn't really understand that it's not just about how hard you work, it's about what you work at and what you spend your time doing that makes it worthwhile. And if you can get to a point where in this life that is like the tide, there's ebbs and flows and ups and downs, and there's hurt, and there's all these things that we have to overcome. If you can get to a point where you make it not about yourself and you're able to help others, that is a life worthwhile. That is a life worthwhile. If you look out in the world today, there's so many injustices. There's so many things that make you sit back and go, how is that possible? How is it possible that so many are hurting? How is it possible that, a country can attack so many people and displace them? How is it possible that an entire generation of a people can be treated so poorly? And there's so many injustices in this world. And the life experience that I had up until the point of college really didn't prepare me for what I was going to learn over the next few years. After getting drafted in the NBA and being the MVP of the summer league, my first day in Cleveland, first day putting on a practice uniform with LeBron James, I took a bad fall and I herniated 4 discs in my back and I couldn't feel my legs. And it was at that point, after about 4 months, 3 surgeries, where a doctor told me I would never play again. And after deciding to keep playing and tearing a hamstring, having another 5 or 6 surgeries, I'm laying in a hospital bed. And I said to myself, there has got to be a whole lot more to life than putting a leather basketball through an iron rim. And I made a decision in that hospital bed, staring up at the ceiling, to pursue a life worthwhile. And in this world, there are so many hurts, and there's so many times where you get treated unfairly or life doesn't go your way. And I just believe that as a people, we are not so different than one another. We all need to forgive one another. We need to have patience for one another. We need to be the person that Al Fortham came to be, laying on a couch late at night as some lost soul wanders in for help. How can you get to a point where you're helping someone else and it's not about you? And that's what I've come to learn in my life on this earth. And time is short. There's a brevity of life that when I speak at high schools, it's hard to get them to understand. Life goes by so fast. You spend 10 or 12, 14 years in being raised up. At the end of your life, you have 7 or 8 years where there's not a whole lot you can do. Maybe 30 years sleeping. You got to go to work sometime. Some of that time's probably spent on your income taxes. And, it goes by so quickly. It is so important that you get to the end of your life and you gave someone a hand up, because there's going to be a point in your life, in all of our lives, where we need help. And that's where this scholarship means so much, because there are people out there, so many people that need that hand up. And if Al was here today, he would be proud that in his name, all of these kids are getting an opportunity to further their lives. And it's such a special thing. It is really such a special thing. And who knows what they're going to become. It's really, really exciting. I'd like to share a story of an inmate. There was an inmate that lived in a small community, and everyone knew him. He committed a crime that caused shame on himself, shame on his family, and everyone gave up on him. He got sentenced to 20 years in prison, and no one wrote him. No one called him. There was no contact from the family. There was no forgiveness from the victim. And he spent 19 of those years thinking about what he'd done and paid dearly. So it's into his 19th year, and he gets a letter from the parole board. He's getting an opportunity to get out. So for the first time, he's going to try and contact his family. He writes them a letter and he says, I'm getting out on this date, and I just want to know if I'm welcome back home. If I'm welcome, I'm taking a bus there, and would you just put a yellow ribbon on the doorknob outside? So if I'm welcome, I'll see the ribbon and I'll come in. And if not, I'll just keep on going and you guys can forget about me. So he gets out going into that 20th year, and he's nervous because he doesn't know. And he's telling people his story on the bus ride, and people are starting to take interest. And some people don't get off the bus just because they want to see what's going on. And as he's getting closer, he's thinking about the shame, the hurt, the unforgiveness that he expected. And he's a few blocks away, and he's thinking about, well, maybe they'll take me back in, but if not, I'll just figure this out on my own. As the bus turns the corner down his street, it's about 500 yards down to his house. Every yard and every tree is covered with yellow ribbon and yellow signs and welcome home. And to me, that story of being welcomed back home after so much hurt is a story that the VOA represents. And that's, I think, the story that Al Forthan helps so many people that need forgiveness, that need to be shown love. And I just encourage each and every one of you recipients to spend a little time thinking this week about forgiveness, about who you can pick up, about what's important in your life as you move forward as far as helping other people and spending a life worthwhile. I turned 40 this year. I realized life is going by so fast. I'm amazed by the compassion every single day and the ability to not give up on so many people that other people have given up on, that the VOA displays, and the community that wraps their arms around so many that need help. It's a really, really special place. And I just want to congratulate all of the winners of this year's scholarship recipients. And with that, I would just like to say thank you for having me. I hope everyone has a blessed year. And it is my great pleasure to introduce Patient Night, Janelle Ganinas, Cadence Red Wine. Thank you very much.
So hi, I am Patience. Can you guys all hear me? All good? All right. So when I first heard about this scholarship, I learned about it in school, and I thought that this is going to be perfect for me. And so I went ahead and applied, and I wasn't too sure, and I did a lot of writing and exploring, and through the scholarship I kind of got to learn more about my past and my childhood, and really dive into like what that consisted of, and filling in kind of all those blanks that your brain has kind of made in there. So it's already helped me tremendously kind of overcome some of those things I didn't realize were holding me back yet. And so I came from a family of addicts, and although my mother tried to shelter me from her addiction, it eventually overtook our lives, and I ended up in foster care. And I have been blessed to have a mother who can overcome addiction through a 12-step program called Narcotics Anonymous. My mother is now in her final year of graduate school, earning her master's in social work at Portland State. And she shows me every day that it is possible to get clean, and recovery is possible for anyone. And having this scholarship available to kids like me who have been stuck in this cycle, and their families have been stuck, is giving kids an opportunity to kind of break through and kind of move forward their family's legacy in life and kind of what their family name means to them. With the help of the scholarship, I will be pursuing a forestry degree at Oregon State Cascades in Bend and Central Oregon Community College. And after that, I hope to pursue a career outdoors that I will love spending time at every day. And I would like to close with a moment of silence for the addict who still suffers. And thank you, everyone, for letting me speak today. And I greatly appreciate everyone who has made this possible and has put in the time and effort to make this happen. Thank you.
Okay, so hi, my name's Janelle Godinez, and I want to start off by saying thank you to the volunteers of America for our fourth ship. So, as who was raised by and a dad constantly unreliable, I've been about how I wish, and I wondered if I could go to college. But with the help of the Forthan scholarship and other scholarships, I will be able to attend Oregon State University.
I'm sorry, Janelle, I think we are having you cut in and out. Can you hear us? I think we may have lost Janelle.
Tessa, would it help if everybody muted their mic?
I believe everyone is muted. I think
okay.
she just lost her online connection. So hopefully we get to her again. Oh, hi, Janelle. Are you back? Hi.
I'm sorry.
No, don't.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you please start over? Is that okay?
Yes. I'm sorry.
You. No, don't be. You're perfectly fine.
Is it all clear now?
Yes, it's much better.
Okay, so I want to start off by saying thank you to the Volunteers of America for awarding me the Al Forthan Scholarship. As a student who was raised by a single teen mom and a dad who was constantly unreliable, I've been worried about how I would pay for college, and I wondered if I even could attend college. Excuse me, but luckily with the help of the Al Forthan Scholarship and other scholarships, I will be attending the Oregon State University in the upcoming fall. Growing up, I witnessed my mom struggle to pay bills time and time again. I remember a few instances when my mom had to choose between paying the rent or paying the electricity bill. She obviously paid the rent. For years, my mom had 2 and at times 3 jobs at once. I believe that is why I'm such a hard worker today. For the past 2 years, I have worked at Roy's Janitorial, and I just got my second job at Bellinger's Farm this past March. With these jobs, I have been saving as much as I can, and now I will not have to work my first year of college. With this, I will be able to dedicate all my time and effort towards my classwork rather than worrying about the financial stress that comes with the pursuit of a higher education. In the upcoming fall, I plan to double major in computer science and marketing. With this, I'm going to be able to get a stable job and income that I have longed for my whole life. Along with the degree, I will have the opportunity to meet and network with a wide array of people. Along with this, I will be able to set an example for my 2 younger siblings and show them that we can overcome obstacles that were set in front of us. All of this is made possible with the help of the Al Forthan Scholarship. When I first saw Forthan Scholarship, I felt my whole life, I never had someone that could relate to me in terms of struggles. I felt alone most of the time. With the Forthan Scholarship scene, since I can remember, my dad has always abused substances. I was born to 2 teenage parents, and at the start of my parents' relationship, my dad was a clean and sober teenager, but slowly he started getting involved with the wrong group of people. It first started off with cigarettes, and as time progressed, he transitioned into using marijuana. Marijuana today seems insignificant because it's legalized in quite a few states, but it is said to be the gateway drug. In this case, it was absolutely correct. After my parents separated, my siblings and I would often go to my dad's house while my mom worked because she could not afford to pay for a babysitter for all three of us. I can recall being in the living room building Legos with my brother, and in the kitchen beside the living room, I remember my dad always having different people around, people I didn't know. Now, as I reflect, I realize how dangerous that was, especially because my dad would sometimes leave me alone to go outside when I was in the house with complete strangers. By the age of 6, I knew not to talk about what my dad did, and every time someone asked, I would feel ashamed. He was never able to hold a job. From the time I was 7 to when I was about 15, he made most of his money growing and selling marijuana, among other things. All throughout elementary school, I can recall crying myself to sleep. At a young age, you kind of blame yourself for all the bad things that happen in your life. I can recall crying myself to sleep. And excuse me, I lost my spot. At a young age, you blame yourself for all the bad things that happen in your life. Every time my dad would forget to pick me up from school, and I would be waiting there for hours as I tried to call my dad over and over again, eventually leading them to call my mom while she was at work, made me question my worth. Was I really so insignificant that he completely avoided his responsibility to take care of me? I felt like a complete burden. He was not worthy of any love. I would blame myself more at times than not. As I cried at night, I laid there wishing I had never been born. I envisioned a life for both of my parents in a world where I did not exist, and I wished that it could be that way. As time progressed, I eventually made it to middle school, and there was a new type of feeling towards my father and his alcohol and drug abuse. I was no longer blaming or hating myself, but I was envious of all my peers. Middle school is a time when most kids feel insecurities most, and that held true for me. These insecurities were exacerbated every time the conversation of parents' jobs came up. I always responded that I didn't know when it came to my dad. It was better than telling the truth, but nonetheless embarrassing. Over the years, I have coped in numerous ways, but the most effective was talking about my experiences. And that is why I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share my experiences today. I would again like to give a big thank you to the Volunteers of America because I truly feel understood and seen. Thank you.
That was a very beautiful speech, Chanel. You got me crying over here. Thank you so much for speaking. That was really beautiful. Okay, hi everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Hi, my name is Cadence Redwine, and I would just like to begin by expressing my gratitude for being chosen as a recipient for the Al Forthan Scholarship. I applied for this scholarship because after reading about Al Forthan and his journey with drugs, alcohol, and the Portland police, I instantly could relate his story to my own. I was born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee, where I lived with my divorced parents and an ex-Marine alcoholic father. I was frequently exposed to the devastating effects of alcohol and abuse. He committed suicide a month before my 10th birthday. My mom and I then decided to create a happier life for ourselves on the Oregon coast the summer before my freshman year of high school. As you all know, job opportunities on the coast are extremely limited while housing prices are skyrocketed. So we were homeless that summer. My mom does her absolute best to provide for me, but the earnings from odd jobs that I have had to get usually go to food and bills. So it's just me and my mom. Her name is Kathy with a K as well, and she works at the local credit union TLC and is the best mom I could ever ask for. One of the application questions asked to explain the correlation between race, class, and incarceration rates. Along with the jaw-dropping statistics to which we all know that people of color are most likely to be incarcerated, I shared my story of activism during the height of the Black Lives Matter protests in Portland. After being tear gassed and shot at with rubber bullets, I was arrested, thrown in a van, and taken in. I was released the following day with not even a slap on the wrist. They might have done this just to scare me, but as studies have shown, a white woman doesn't often find herself in trouble. I use this story to let people know from a firsthand account that racial bias in law enforcement field is and always has been an extreme issue that we as a country still need to focus on. Did my dad's story stop me from self-medicating on my own? Absolutely not. What kind of teenager would I be? I struggled with addiction myself for about 4 years, but then I visited my aunt in Pennsylvania around a year ago. She introduced me to AA. As an old-timer herself, she showed me how to live sober. I plan to continue my sobriety in college, where I will be studying what I love. I will be attending University of Hawaii Hilo to study biology, as well as enjoying the sun, which we don't get much here in Oregon. Why am I going to Hawaii? I've always felt drawn to the ocean and coral reefs. I thought, what a better place than to study those things where they are most abundant. I applied for one single school overall and was accepted. This scholarship quite literally is making that possible. College is insanely expensive these days, and the Al Forthan Memorial Scholarship is helping to limit my student debt, as well as providing the opportunity to end my family's cycle of addiction. I again just want to thank every one of you, especially Tessa, for being so patient with me over the phone and email. And just one more time, thank you everybody for providing me with the opportunity to attend college where I can nurture my passions and hopefully one day make a small difference in the world.
Thank you so much. Sorry. Thank you so much to Patience, Janelle, and Cadence for sharing your stories. I just want to congratulate all the recipients for this year's scholarship. I care so deeply about this scholarship, and I'm just so proud of all the recipients this year. So thank you all for being here. We have a video to show, which is really exciting. So I'm going to put that on. It's about 12 minutes long. Please enjoy, and I'll put that on.
Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Welcome everybody. My name is Jordan Kent, and I'm here to tell you about the story of a very special man, Al Forthan, and the Memorial Scholarship Fund that was set up in his name that will help the lives of the next generation. And Al's story begins here at the Volunteers of America building, Men's Residential Center in Portland, Oregon, where Al, like so many of the men that come through the doors here, are given a second chance to better their lives.
My name is Greg Stone, and my role here at VOA is I'm the program director of the Volunteers of America Men's Residential Center. The Volunteers of America is a nonprofit that's been around since 1896, so a little bit over 125 years now. And I've been working for them for 31 years. I had the honor and privilege of starting the Men's Residential Center back in 1990. We do everything from youth programs with childcare up to senior adult daycare programs. The program that I work with, we are a large residential alcohol and drug treatment program. We're funded and licensed through the state of Oregon, and we serve men who come out of the criminal justice system. So Al Forthan was a gentleman who grew up here in Northeast Portland. He was actually born in Vanport, and when it flooded, his family moved in over by Concordia University, and he basically went to Jeff, was a 1963 graduate, and was big into sports, but also, like, you know, many people who grew up in the neighborhood got involved in the lifestyle of drugs and crime. So Al spent about 25 years in that lifestyle, and he was, you know, one of those people that had a lot of charisma, a lot of charm, and was pretty good at that lifestyle of being in the game. He spent that 25 years as a heroin addict, major, you know, supplier of drugs and trafficking. And when he got clean, though, came into our program. We actually moved in here. We were in a temporary location while we went through conditional use, moved here on April 30th, 1992. And Al had actually come into our program a week earlier. So he basically came back to his neighborhood that he grew up in and got clean after many other treatment failures, and got clean for the first time in his life. And Al said, you know, basically this program, you know, you really credited it with his ability to change his life. And he said, you know, it was the first time in my life where I felt like I was treated like a human being and that people cared about me. It was the first client that I hired to work here in 1996, and he spent 10 years working with us and just was an amazing counselor, just had a heart of gold, tremendous love and passion to help people in recovery. You know, he just had this wonderful ability to connect with people, and the men just had, you know, tremendous respect for him. You know, obviously a person that had been there, you know, he was 9 times in prison, and you know, had transformed his life, and just his passion and commitment to help people was, you know, just, oh, it was a wonderful gift that he gave to people. He struggled with COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, and had real struggle breathing toward the end of his life. But he had this passion to keep working, and basically, you know, we had those big set of stairs. You have to get up to the, all the offices were up here on the 2nd floor. He would carry his breathing machine up the stairs. You know, he was committed till the end. And 3 days before he passed away, he was doing a 12-step meeting on his deathbed. Wow. You know, and it's like, what a testament, you know, just of his love and commitment to help people choose recovery. You know, and so I just had a deep love and respect for who he was, you know, just a wonderful man. Obviously get emotional about it, but so he passed away in 2006, but he had 14 years clean time. And I had the honor of speaking at his service. And, you know, I said basically he was the Michael Jordan of recovery. You know, it just touched so many people's lives in such a deep and profound way. You know, it's just a true gift to be a part of that, of, you know, being a small part of his journey.
Jesus wash away my troubles while I'm traveling here below.
Well, we're here in Greg's office, and you saw just the compassion and care that Greg has for his fellow man, and his relationship and friendship with Al was something that was really special. And when you think back on the way that they're looking to honor Al with this memorial scholarship, it's incredible to just see the difference it's made in the lives of others. So we're going to take an opportunity to hear from a handful of these scholarship recipients that have had to work so hard on their own just to overcome some adversity, a hand that they were dealt that they didn't get a chance to choose. And now with the aid of this scholarship, just that little bit of help, the difference it makes in their lives, the doors that it has opened. And when you see the lasting impact of Al Forthan and what he set forward with his way to help his fellow man, you'll see the huge and tremendous difference this scholarship can make in the lives of others.
Hi, my name is Samantha, and I am a nurse at OHSU Dornbecker. I always wanted to go to college. It's always been a goal of mine. I always wanted to play soccer in college, and so I always knew that to afford college, I was going to have to work my way towards a scholarship. Actually, it was pretty therapeutic to be able to write everything out and go through this process. And I think some of the questions were about the history with my dad and his alcohol abuse and some of my other family members. So I just went into those stories and talked a little bit about my childhood growing up. So I say therapeutic because I think having an opportunity to share your story when it's something you've kept to yourself for most of your life, or that, you know, being involved in so many things in high school, I didn't share that side of me, and my struggle with some of those things with my family and how that impacted my home life. So it was therapeutic to be able to write that all out and then to meet other people through the process who were coming from similar situations or struggled with those things themselves. And so it just was really eye-opening to meet new people and identify with those people in a way that I didn't with some of my other close friends. And then once I realized that I won and that my dreams were gonna come true, and like I was definitely on path to achieve the things that I wanted to achieve, that just gave me confidence. It gave me reassurance that I can do whatever I want to do with my life. It was just really also inspiring.
My name's Casey Ragianti. I'm a global product manager at Adidas. Grew up in Portland, and I'm very thankful and blessed to still be here. So I was couch surfing at the time with a neighbor and just getting acclimated to that lifestyle. And now I'm thinking about what's next. What am I going to do? Figured college was the best opportunity for me. I felt like it was my only chance because of how I was like raised, how I grew up. Drugs, alcohol. Parents were somewhat emotionally and physically abusive, and I just felt deep down that without college, I'd end up not necessarily in the same paths. I didn't want to end up like my family. I wanted to be different, but I also wanted to be proud of my life and make a difference and do more than just what my parents did growing up. For me, growing up, it was always like, I'm just like everybody else. I never really shared my story because I didn't feel like it was different from other kids at school. I always felt like everybody's dealing with these types of problems. And, you know, finding help and assistance through mentors growing up, you start to realize that the way you grew up wasn't normal. It was vastly different from a lot of other people. So for me, is that turning point of getting kicked out of the house, finding some mentors, confiding in them, and then just learning that your story should be told, embrace it. And then there's people out there like the Al Forthan Scholarship that will help make your dreams a reality and assist you because they know and support those that have struggled growing up. It came down to instilling confidence in me, validating my story, believing in me, which growing up in a drug and alcohol abused home, I didn't have a lot of that. And to hear you won and we believe in you, here's your chance to go to college was extremely impactful. And it's something that I think about, especially life is hard. I deal with a lot of challenges, but I can't forget how blessed I am and the ability that the scholarship's given me going forward to keep trying to do better and make a difference where I can.
Okay, my name is Vinicia. I attend Portland State University full-time, and I'm studying pre-med, majoring in psychology, minoring in business, and I have a job full-time too. If I didn't have a scholarship, I for sure wouldn't think I could go to college because of the way my life was just set up at the time. I've always been working full-time like my whole life, and it started in high school. As soon as I was eligible to get a job, I was just working too much. So I couldn't show my high school academics that I was able to go to college. But Al Forthan was willing to hear a story that got me accepted to college. You know, like they gave me the money to go because other schools wasn't gonna really pay for it. Because, you know, when you're working full-time all the time, you have to make up that money that, you know, you don't have. But when Al Forthan gives you that money, you can take time off and just really focus on academics, because what people fail to realize is that school is a full-time job. So to work 2 full-time jobs in high school was, you know, it's kind of insane. I honestly would not be in this position without the Al Forthan Scholarship, because it was really the money. Like, college is all about money. Like, you can't go to college without money at all. So no, I wouldn't have, because then I wouldn't have somebody, you know, to help me pay for my way to get in. Now that I'm in, I figured it out and I made excellent grades. It's way up there, you know, like it just really helps you get there. And if I never had the Al Forthan Scholarship, I wouldn't have gotten there in the first place because I would have been working full time.
Well, those are just some incredible stories and just a small sampling of the number of lives that have been changed because of the Al Forthan Memorial Scholarship. And now it's your opportunity to make a difference. We heard from Greg earlier the difference this scholarship fund has made since 2006. But now collectively we can come together and better more lives and give more of these young men and women a fair chance to open up doors in their lives. They've already had to overcome so much at such a young age, and you see just the incredible fortitude of these young individuals. The least we can do is to continue to give them a hand. So please check out the website below. You'll find more information on how you can donate. And let's continue to carry on the legacy that Al Forthan set forward of helping his fellow man. And we can all play a big role if we just play a small little part.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, and huge shout out to Jordan Kent and Jonathan Simons for creating that video and helping us create that video. It's really helpful being able to hear more stories of students that we've impacted through this scholarship over the years. So special shout out to Jonathan and Simon. And now we get on to the exciting part where we're gonna announce this year's scholarship recipients. So let me just switch on over to that. All right, so I'm gonna be reading off and showing you pictures of the 2022 Al Forthan Scholarship recipients. First, we have Mackenzie Arviso, and she will be attending University of Oregon. We have Ikra Awao, who will be attending Portland State University. We have Ruby Burge, who will be attending Oregon State University. We have Charlie Elwood Carlson Pavey, who will be attending Central Oregon Community College. We have Alyssa Cunningham, who will be attending Central Oregon Community College. We have Trinity Farr, who will be attending Grand Canyon University. We have Olivia Farrier, who will be attending Linfield University. Next is Haley Fisher, and she will be attending Eastern Oregon University. Next, we have Jennifer Flores, who will be attending dual enrollment at University of Oregon and Lane Community College. We have Janelle Godinez, who will be attending Oregon State University. We have Marianne Hatley, who will be attending University of Oregon. Next, we have Susanna Johnson, who will be attending Southern Oregon University. We have Sarah Kerwood, who will be attending Oregon State University. Next, we have Alexa Armenta Lopez, who will be attending Willamette University. Next, we have Patience Knight, and she will be doing dual enrollment at Central Oregon Community College and Oregon State University, Cascades. Next, we have Cameron Linder, and she will be attending Oregon State University. We have Antonio Macias, who will be attending Western Oregon University. Next, we have Navai Miki, who will be attending Portland State University. And it's Nevaeh, actually. I apologize for the mispronunciation. And we have Ashley Panchot, who will be attending Gonzaga University. We have Sandra Parsons, who will be attending Lane Community College. And we have Cadence Redwine, who will be attending University of Hawaii Hilo. And we have Shep Riley, who will be attending University of Manchester. We have Emma Robbins, who will be attending Oregon State University Cascades. Alyssa Scriver, she will be attending University of Oregon. Samantha Spring will be attending Metropolitan State University of Denver. Abby Stephan will be attending Chapman University. Lolly Trejo will be attending Willamette University. Izzy Van Cleek, who will be attending University of Denver. Austin Verbeau, he will be attending Central Oregon Community College. Kate West, she will be attending Willamette University. And then last but not least, Shaylin Workinger, she will be attending Treasure Valley Community College. A huge congratulations to all of our recipients this year. Just know that we are so proud of you and your future accomplishments to going to pursue higher education. You will be forever a part of the Al Forthan family. Now I'm going to be passing it on to Claire May. She will be our last speaker for the evening. And she was a a recipient of the scholarship back in 2018.
Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Perfect. Okay. My name is Claire Mays. First of all, I want to thank you for the introduction, and I want to congratulate all the new Al Forthan scholars and the students who spoke today. I'm currently a senior at Santa Clara University down in California, and I've had an amazing college experience and so unbelievably lucky to be living in California and graduating from such a prestigious school in just 5 weeks. But I would not be here without the Al Forthan scholarship. It's crazy to think that just 4 years ago, I was up on the stage at the Al Forthan banquet myself, talking about the future and kind of having no idea what it held. I was raised by a single mother. My father was both in and out of my life, sort of depending on his alcohol intake that day. My parents got divorced early on due to my father's drinking, although at the time I didn't really know that. I spent weekends with him playing cards, swimming, and he had a Jeep and we'd always drive through the mud puddles to make my brother and I laugh. But by the time I was about 10 or so, I was no longer spending weekends at his house. I lived with my mom full time and was occasionally visited by my dad, both on his good days and his bad ones. His good days were filled with laughter and Sour Patch Kids and Reese's Pieces given to me after soccer games. And on his bad ones, he was unrecognizable. He was aggressive and emotionally abusive. And I was forced to learn to maneuver having a father that showed love that was unhealthy and conditional. This often took the form of showing up to sporting events drunk, which was confusing and difficult as a middle schooler trying to sort of discover who she was. He continued to struggle with alcoholism until he died the second day of my freshman year of high school in an accident. This was difficult as I was so new to a new school, learning to navigate new people. I struggled because at the age of 13, I was aware that our relationship had been difficult and far from perfect, but I always believed he would get better. I lost him the 2nd of September 2014, but in reality, it was far earlier than that due to a disease that took a man I loved so dearly far too soon. But I was always someone who leaned into school and sports to sort of pull me from my own thoughts and to push me to become a better person. And I now have kind of realized that I had always kind of repressed the difficult hold alcoholism had on my life and the foundation of my family until my junior year, when my guidance counselor sent me an email with the recommendation to apply to the Al Forthan Scholarship. I attended Franklin High School in Portland, and college had always been a huge financial stressor for me and my family. So I thought that maybe by sharing my story and helping to make a silver lining out of a situation that had been difficult could be good for my family and for my mom, who was so terrified about the idea of paying for college. But little did I know that the support of the Al Forthan community would not only give me the ability to attend my dream school, but would also remind me that I always have support in my community and in Portland. Before I began applying for scholarships like Al Forthan, my list of colleges were fairly short. It was full of ones that were cheap and close to home and would allow me to work to help my family cover the cost of tuition and housing. But the Al Forthan Scholarship allowed me to expand my list and apply to a variety of schools across the country, making a school that had always been a reach for me a reality. I started at Santa Clara University in the fall of 2018, and although the last few years have not been easy, I have accomplished some amazing feats that I'm excited to share. In 5 weeks, I will graduate with 2 Bachelor's of Science degrees, one in neuroscience and one in public health sciences, and a minor in biology, and I'm well on my way to reaching my goals of becoming a physician assistant. Throughout my college career, I've interned at a free health clinic for the low-income community at Santa Clara, and I've provided naloxone to homeless encampments in the area. And I'm currently doing research with a professor through the microbiology department at Santa Clara, looking at phage sensitivity in E. coli, hoping to slow the progression of antibiotic resistance. During my time at Santa Clara, I've played on the club women's ultimate frisbee team and have been a captain for the last 3 years. My plans after college include working as a medical scribe, either at Roots Community Health Center, where I was a public health fellow this past summer, or at Stanford. I interviewed there yesterday, so we'll see on that one. But being recognized for overcoming experiences with alcoholism is something that I'm very grateful for, because without the support of an amazing mother and the connections that I've made through the Al Forthan community, I would not be talking to you all about being victorious over some hardships that at one point ruled my life. But this scholarship is really made possible by those in the community, and we ask that if you are financially able, please make a donation to ensure that we can help more students next year pursue higher education and break the cycle of addiction in families. So if you are financially able, please text Al Forthan 2022 to 91999 to place your donation. Thank you, and congrats to all the scholars.
Thank you so much, Clara, for being here and for sharing your story once more with us, and huge good luck for all your future endeavors and for Stanford and all that. So yeah, everyone, thank you so much for joining us this evening, celebrating those who have really conquered their life challenges and are pursuing higher education and really just trying to break that cycle of addiction within their families. We truly appreciate all of your support. And before we go, I just do want to share some ways to give. Clara did share one, is text Al Forthan 2022 to 91999, or you may place a donation if you're able to at voaor.org, or you may send a check to this address. It's the MRC address, and put Greg Stone as the on the check. We really appreciate you all one more time. I just want to give a huge shout out to Kay, to Luke, to Patience, Janelle, and Cadence for sharing your stories with all of us, to Clara, and last but not least to Greg. Without Greg, none of this would be possible. And Al Forthan, in memory and in solidarity and in remembrance. He was truly an amazing man, and I am very thankful and very proud to be a part of this scholarship. So thank you all once again for joining, and I wish all the best of luck to all of our recipients this year.
And thank you, Tessa. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Kay. And if you guys want to stick around, I think that will conclude today's ceremony. We would love to just chat if you want, but thank you all again for coming.
I'll just jump on for a brief second. So Herman Gowdy, you may see him there. He was actually Al's sponsor. And really appreciate you joining us tonight, Herman. Much love and respect to you.
Thank you, Herman.
Yeah. And again, thanks so much to all the students, to Luke, Tessa, Kay, and Jordan and Jonathan for so much support you've all done to help the scholarship. And again, to all of our donors and judges, much, much respect and love from my heart to make this happen for the kids. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. We really appreciate you all coming out and joining us tonight.
Thank you, Greg. And Herman, thank you. This is Kay. Yeah.
Alyssa, do you have a question?
I just want to say sorry for being late. This is super cool. I was just doing the worm in a restaurant because I just felt like it. And I'm so sorry I was late, but this is awesome. And thank you guys so much. You guys all seem really cool.
Oh, thank you, Alyssa. Good luck with everything. I know that a lot of our recipients this year were coming right after work or tuning in during work. So appreciate all of your hard work and for just making it, you know.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Alyssa.
Okay, thank you. Greg, what's up?
Hi, Jerome.
Hey.
We miss you, Jerome.
We miss you, Jerome.
I miss you too, but you know what, even online, we don't stop it, man. What a great, that was put together very well. I really enjoyed all that. Great job from everybody and such a great, reason to do it, Al. So yeah, that was awesome.
Jesse did a great job.
Thanks.
Yeah, so that's a good job.
Thanks, Jerome. Much love.
Yeah, I'll be down there. I think next week I'm going to come in. I'll let you know, Greg. Maybe we'll go figure out lunch or something.
Sounds good.
All right, bud. Love you.
Love
Bye.
you.
Take care, everyone. Have a great evening.
Oh, is that
Bye,
Kay?
you too, Kay.
Hey, Kay. Bye, Kay.
Bye, Jerome.
I thought you hung up already.
No, I was trying to hear everything you had to say.
Oh, no, it's great to hear from you. Thank you always for being a part of the MRC and supporting everything that Greg does and what the MRC brings to this community. I really appreciate that and being here for this. This means a lot to Greg. So just supporting him the way you do is such a wonderful thing. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to say thank you again, Greg. Great job. I mean, this brother, he's reaching out from his grave. He's a tough man. That's my man.
Yeah.
And just respect, man, the effort that you put in and all you guys. You guys, just great effort.
Thank
and
you,
I appreciate that. Showing up
It's
every
so great
year.
to see you out here tonight, Herman. Thank you so much for joining.
Gotta come in and support my man.
Oh yeah, appreciate all your love and support of Big Al and helping him get clean.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Great job, Luke.
Hey, thank you. It was my pleasure, honestly, just to be a part of it. Greg, thank you. Tessa, Kay, amazing, really, to be able to spend an afternoon doing something like this. Just really humbled, privileged to be on. Thank you.
Thanks.
See you guys next year. All right, Tessa.
Possibly in person, hopefully.
Great job. Great job.
Hey, Greg. I didn't expect anything less, but just an outstanding presentation of what you've consistently brought to the community. And every time I hear it, it makes me feel proud to know you. And I've had the time to work with you as an individual and somebody that I really respect who you are as a man. And so I know you haven't really seen it because I haven't been there recently. So I'm going to stop by just to prove it to you again.
Is that Freddie McGee?
Hey, Jerome.
Freddie Mac.
Frosty?
Freddie Mac is back.
Yeah, so no, I'm just really honored. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Thanks again for the reminder invitation. Like personally, you always do that with me. I've loved for the past, 7 years being a judge because it's opened my eyes to another side of the world. It's a world that I experienced as a young person, but sometimes as you have a measure of success, you kind of push that aside and kind of bathe a little bit in the success you're having. But just these young people, they're constantly a reminder of why we do what we do and an inspiration to continue moving it forward. So I'm just honored that I have this privilege.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's really amazing. And thank you, Tessa. I haven't met you personally, but I know that the last time I was getting my scholarship essays to judge, it came from, I think, Sister Rice. Right?
It was Alex before Tessa.
Yeah, Sister Rice. I call her Sister Rice, Alice Rice.
I am the new Sister Rice. So.
Yeah. And so, no, outstanding job keeping this going. Everybody's playing a role that is improving the quality of life in our community. So that's just, I'm all with that.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Freddie. Tessa, you did a phenomenal job tonight. Excellent work. Really appreciate you and all your heart.
Thanks, Greg. Truly tried with this Zoom thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully it looked good. I couldn't tell.
It was perfect.
Okay, awesome. Good. That's all I care about.
Hey, Tess.
Yeah.
So I'm barbecuing. I want you to notice I'm barbecuing chicken.
Oh, look at your own.
You see
Where are
what
the
I'm
vegan
cooking?
dogs?
I'm cooking I'm barbecuing plant-based burgers. Just
Okay.
throwing it out there.
That's good. I'm proud of you. Good job. I haven't tried those. I gotta try those.
Oh, yeah, it's looking good so far. I don't know
All
about
right.
you.
Well, don't burn them.
No, come on now. Come on now.
I know. Okay.
All right.
All right, folks, we have a great night. Again, thanks so much to everybody.
All right, I'm going down to give me something to eat. Now that Jerome's slinking them plant-based burgers around.
All right,
Greg, I'll give you a call.
Okay.
I got to work all day tomorrow, but I'll give you a call.
Sounds good, Jerome.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.